Good morning, everybody. Time for coffee and questions. I haven't done a lot lately. I've been working nonstop, so it is the way that it is. The place is busy. Hopefully, it slows down, and I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've got a lot of notes on commentaries for hopefully more better content coming up. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. I had a friend text me, "Hey, out of your scrap steel, what do you do with this stuff? I mean, do you just throw it out, turn it to recycling?" Sometimes, no, I don't. I throw it in the trash when it gets to be too small, but the smaller cutoffs and stuff I throw, in a pile, and I root through it once in a while when I'm wanting to make something, or you do little art things. Okay, now the topic here is battery plucker. I came across something on the web. A friend of mine said, "Hey, is there any chance you could, make this for me? I think it's really cool. I could use it, when I'm doing auto repair stuff." I said, "Sure." No big deal. I mean, I made it for him for next to nothing. I'm not trying to make money off of people that I'm friends with, so it's okay. I rooted around. I came up with some scrap steel. I played around. I put it together. I'm going to throw up a picture. I'll pull some of this down, and we'll discuss how I made it. You can make it. It's very simple, very easy, and it's kind of a handy tool. Hang on 1 minute, and I'll throw up the picture. Okay, let's take a look on the upper left here, and you can see this is not an exact picture of the one that I did. This is a duplicate that I found on the web, but this is exactly what I made for him, and I made it the exact same way. Now you can use like 1-inch just flat steel, cold rolled. It's cheap if you don't have any to go out and buy it, metal supply stores or whatever. And you can see where you don't need to do a lot of welding on this. You just drill holes, use bolts. So how did I make that curve right there? Well, I have an oxyacetylene. I just heated it up and I bent it around a coffee can. I put a bunch of gravel in a coffee can, and then I turned around, heated it up, and I just bent it, and an arc cooled it off, and then I just cut off part of the arc. Okay, so then I turned around, and here's that 1-inch. Well, this is maybe a little bit. His might be a little bit wider than 1 inch, but I used I think one and a quarter. Is somewhere in there. It doesn't matter because it's not going to be that industrial. I mean, all you have to do is make it to pick up batteries, but you can see up where the bolts are. You can bend them at a 90. Now you could, you can do more welding if you want. It's just easier if you bolt this thing in and you use these bolts, and you can see if you take a close look, I rounded off the corners here. I haven't done any painting or anything at this point. What I did is I just fitted it all up. And you can see down when you come down now to where those jaws are, all I used was an angle grinder with a cutoff blade. And you can do this by just laying it out with, like chalk or something like that, or a pencil or a Sharpie or whatever you have. It doesn't have to be anything super exacting. And then don't make the teeth real sharp. Just make them a little dulled off. And you can see how it comes down on both sides like that. And then I used, up in the upper part, I used like a little grinder. If you have a die grinder, fine. If you don't, you can still use your 4.5 inch, and you clean up all of your welds, you clean up all of the corners, and I take off all the rust as best I can with a wire wheel, or I use anything that I have. And you can see this is really easy to line these holes up. You can use a hand drill if you had to. You could use a jigsaw with a metal cutoff blade to do the little jagged edges. It's just faster if you have a cutoff blade on a 4.5 inch angle grinder. You can use any bolts, any size, okay? They'll work, okay? And you just drop them through. This is a simple project. I know it looks like a very simple tool that you might use once in a blue moon, but if you're doing a lot of swapping of batteries, in his case, he works at a place where they move a lot of batteries from one place to another. He gets tired of picking them up by hand and jerking them around. Now, this was real quick, real easy. I thought whoever designed this was very clever, so I just replicated what they did. Now, let me swap pictures, and I'll show you what we did here in the end as far as making it look pretty. Okay, now take a look over here on the far right. Now, this guy, I had a bunch of rattle cans of different paints laying around there's not enough to do a whole project, so it comes in handy for these little scrap projects. Now, I made mine John Deere green. That's what I had laying around. He made his yellow. You can paint it any color that you want to, and it actually turns out pretty decent looking, and it's not a complicated thing to do. Like I said, you could do them with basic hand tools at home, but yes, you do need a welder. Yes, you're going to need a 4.5 inch angle grinder. But this is a quick, easy project. I'm not going to make this a long video because I've got to get ready for work. And I've got some other ones coming up that'll be a little bit longer. You know, we'll talk about some other interesting things that you can make out of scrap steel. But answer your question, no, I don't throw it out until it gets down to little stuff, and then I just throw them right into the trash. I don't go to the recycle yard because I always end up going out there and finding something that I can use to do something with. So this is one little clever project. I hope if it comes in handy and you make it, it works out good for you. I'll see you on the next video. Click subscribe, and you folks have a good day. Bye-bye.